This training video will show you how to fill open sales order lines using the items needed list. This is the recommended method of placing orders to fill all open sales order lines. First, go to Inventory, List Items Needed. You'll see a list of all open sales orders that have not been filled. For this purpose, I'm going to sort this by my delivery date. And then you'll notice you have the following columns. This is a link to your open sales order. This is the delivery date. I just sorted it by that. So I see my oldest to newest. There's your customer name, brand, model, category. This column is your quantity on hand in your inventory. This is, if you have a buying group, it tells you the quantity on hand in your buying group. The cost, there's some other fields here that you may or may not need. This will tell you if you have what you have on order, what you have on hold, information about the models. And then you'll notice at the end you have pull, add to purchase order. You can add to an existing purchase order or a new purchase order. You can select every item on the list. You can unselect every item on the list. And then I'll show you about the add multiple in a minute. So let's go back. And you'll notice this little magnifying glass is there. Any column that has a magnifying glass, you can select that and narrow the list to only, in this case, the brand, the customer, the delivery date, and so on. So let's just narrow this list to items that are being delivered May 22nd, because we're filming this on May 20th, so this would be when you probably wanting to order this or whenever. So you've got your May 22nd deliveries. You'll notice you have these two here. You have some on hand, so you wouldn't want to order those necessarily. And these are only on hand and available, so they're not on a different order. They're not on hold. They're in your inventory available to be sold. So let's go ahead and pull those two. So click on Pull, and it gives us the list of those inventory pieces, and it is in the order here. These are the reference numbers, so you'd want to possibly pick your oldest one. So let's go ahead and choose that. And what that does now, you'll notice that has dropped off our list because it has been filled. It's no longer needed. So now we have another item that we have some on hand, so let's go ahead and pull that one. And we've got these three, so we're going to pick our oldest one. And now those are gone. So now these four lines for the 22nd, we don't have any on hand, so we want to order those. These all happen to be the same brand, so I'm going to add them all to the same purchase order. It could be that you might want to narrow this. If you had different brands, you could narrow it and add multiple. But we're just going to add all of these to one PO. So you check them off, and then we're going to click Add Multiple, and it's going to add these items to a purchase order. It asks if we want to add them to an existing purchase order or a new one. We're going to create a new one. And it brings us to the Items tab of a new purchase order. And it tells you that you need to assign a vendor and a PO number to this new PO. So we say OK. And we go over to Details, and we'll select our vendor. And then it brings you to this expected date. You can select a date if you want. You don't have to. It's not required. Also, you can have some other information. There's some notes here you can add. It's going to default to your default ship to location. And we're going to shift and click in this PO number box. And it assigns a purchase order number. You can use your own number if you'd like. The naming convention is the vendor name, the vendor code, I should say, and today's date. And the first one you place today for this vendor will be -1. If you place subsequent ones, it will be the same thing with the -2 and so on and so forth. So now we've got our items on here. We could set this as ordered, or we could leave it open if we wanted to add more items. We're going to go ahead and set this as ordered. It says how was it placed, and we're just going to tell it that we faxed it. You could, if you had an email address in this field right here, you could click on this PDF button, and it would create an email with the order attached to it, so you could email it to your vendor. And the way you would add that email, if you wanted to do that, is by clicking on Edit This Vendor. It brings you to the details in Accounts Payable is where this is. And then if you wanted to go back, you could go click over on Activity, Purchase Orders, and there's your purchase order. Bring you right back to it. So now this is ordered, and you're all set to move on. You've got the link. You'll notice these are in red, by the way. In red means that they have not been received yet. You've got a link to your sales order right here. When these pieces get received, the sales order will be filled in with the QLN and the serial number that